Hi, IBD. I'm Meredith Heyman. This is Industry Insights. Thanks so much for joining me. What happens in Vegas? Well, when it comes to the 2024 Consumer Electronics Show, or CES, we're breaking it all down here. And joining me to discuss the show is a show attendee, and more importantly, the executive editor of Multimedia here at Investors Business Daily, Alissa Coram. Alissa, thank you so much for chatting.
Absolutely. Great to see you, Meredith.
So are you catching up a little bit on Vegas time and sleep?
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, the show, it's like information overload, but a lot of great information to share. And with all the exciting things ahead, I'll get the jet lag out of the way and just focus on the exciting things coming in the pipeline for 2024 tech.
So let's start with how this CES show was a little different when it comes to all the gadget focus.
Exactly. When you think of CES, which in recent years, I guess fittingly, they've changed it to CES. It's no longer the Consumer Electronics Show by name and in reality. In years past, I've been covering this show for almost a decade now, and it's no longer your drones and your Fitbits and your smart scales that are getting attention. It's the software side. So things that we can't really touch tangibly as consumers, but have big impacts on the business world and just the way that we all work, live, and play. And AI, it really shifted from last year being somewhat of a novelty and an unknown to something that has real tangible implications this year.
Yeah, so talk to me about some of the companies or sectors that were most effective in that way. Automotive.
Yeah, automotive, that's the other big theme that is consumer focused. And you're seeing a lot of partnerships there. So I think the couple of themes within that, you're seeing EVs, that story is continuing to play out, self-driving cars, that as well. But those things are a little bit in flux, I guess you could say. EVs hitting a little bit of a road bump on the demand side, and self-driving cars still seems a little bit of a ways off in terms of widespread consumer adoption. So I think the focus at the show this year on automotive was about all of the big tech partnerships with the automotive companies, whether you have Amazon on the software sort of entertainment side, Qualcomm, onsemi, these chip makers, whether it's the software side or just looking at the electric vehicle components of these integrations, that was in focus, these big partnerships, and they're widespread.
Now, the biggest trend of this CES, it's no secret, AI everything. It's no longer this novelty or something that, could come one day. Talk to me about what you saw there.
Yeah, I think companies this year are talking about AI because if they don't want to seem like they're getting left behind on this theme. So whether it's integrations with how we can improve worker efficiency to all sorts of ways where software companies are seeing big time revenue attributed to their integrations as well. Everyone's talking about AI. There's big money behind it. And the analysts that I spoke to on the ground there are saying that actually the uptake is going to be even faster than what everyone expects. So instead of it being a little bit of a disappointment, when is this really going to become a reality? The reality is here, the reality is now, and that's the big focus of big tech spending at the moment versus on the chip sort of EV side of things.
What does it mean for investors?
You have to be looking at who are going to be the winners. And of course, the big mega cap tech companies, they have the war chest or, the spending to go into R&D, to development, to marketing, and just the power to negotiate with different players out there who are looking to make partnerships. So I think that they're going to be the ones to watch this year, whether it's Microsoft, Amazon, Google. Those are some of the big ones that come to mind. And you also have companies like Apple, of course, that are going to want to try to get in on the game. And then on the chip side, NVIDIA has been the clear leader, and it seems like they're going to continue to do so on the AI front. Of course, there are going to be other companies hot on the chase there to try to get some of these partnerships and spending.
Now, you have some incredible executive interviews coming to IBD. Give us a preview of who we're going to meet.
So we spoke with a couple of chip makers I mentioned on Semi, also Qualcomm, Mobileye, those definitely in the mix when you're talking about EVs and self-driving. And so, like I said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows in EV demand world. So I think what was important this year to talk to some of these companies about is, okay, how are you working through that, through some of that short-term disappointment, balancing that with the long term? And what I heard from executives over and over and over was execution, 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 whether that was from John Deere, Amazon Web Services, talking about the industrial side of things as well. And then we spoke with Deloitte and Accenture about cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and how the business world is really putting into practice thinking about these things, not just as some far off, okay, maybe we'll get to it, but as really important parts of their business strategy.
And one of the coolest things you saw at CES or just in Vegas outside of the show, I hear you got to check out the Las Vegas Sphere.
Yeah, Sphere. So that's also a publicly traded company. Got to see that up close and personal on the monorail line on my way to the Las Vegas Convention Center. And it is pretty cool. There, of course, are a lot of sites to contend with in Vegas, whether it's the Bellagio fountains or the Luxor Casino. That pyramid is now a giant Dorito. So that definitely draws your eye, but it's hard to compete with the Sphere. Long way off from being profitable, but definitely a very interesting addition to the Las Vegas Strip.
All right, Alissa. Well, we'll be watching, and we can't wait to see some of these interviews coming out, hopefully next week. Thank you so much for joining me here on Industry Insights.
Thanks so much for having me, Meredith.
I'm Meredith Heyman. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.